Hello and welcome. My name is Eva Dunlap Lewis, and I'll be guiding you through your Communities Connect engagement platform training. Let's get started. Couple reminders, I'm going to be using the administrator account. So what I see on my screen may not reflect exactly what you see on your screen, just because I'm not a resident at Redwood Terrace. But I'll point out those differences as they arise. And again, in today's training, we're talking about transportation. We'll book a ride, we'll view how to cancel or look at our previously placed ride requests. We'll talk about the home page a little bit, and then we'll do it all again using the computer version. Are we ready?
Yes.
Are we excited?
Oh, sure.
Okay. I'm here at the home screen of Redwood Terrace Connect. I am starting with the iPad version, which should look the same if you are using an iPhone as well. We will start by going into the transportation cube, which is found by scrolling down the page and looking for the light blue, you could call it lavender or periwinkle. The cube looks like this. So we want to click or tap on that cube, and the page changes. It shows us the main page of transportation. Once we get to the main page of the transportation cube, we can see a little bit of information here. We'll see transportation and we see the address. Underneath that address, we see your requests and book ride. Your requests is where we go to see our previously placed ride requests. Book ride is where we go to make a new reservation for transportation. We're going to start with book ride, but first I want to go through some of the regulations and processes behind transportation at Redwood Terrace. I'll start by reading this page. Appointments must be scheduled 24 hours or more in advance between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. only. Driver not available for pickup after 4 p.m. Schedule out-of-town appointments at least 1 week in advance to assure transportation. Appointments must be scheduled 24 hours or more in advance. So that makes sense. 9 to 3 are the operating hours. No pickups after 4 p.m. At least 1 week in advance to ensure transportation, but an absolute minimum of 24 hours in advance. Some more information about that is that Monday through Friday are for doctor's appointments. Saturday and Sunday, I believe you can request rides for shopping and church. And the transportation fees are free within a 10-mile radius. And the departure location, so where you meet for transportation, is the bus parking lot. Okay, well now we can get into actually booking a ride. To book a ride, we go into the transportation cube from the home page. We're already there. So now we'll look for that book ride button, which looks like this. We can go ahead and click or tap where it says book ride, and the screen will change. On here, I see the option medical appointment or other. I'm gonna say that I'm booking a ride for, let's say, Monday, and it's a medical appointment, right? Because if it were Saturday or Sunday, that's usually shopping or church. So for my fake example here, I'm gonna choose medical appointment. If you were trying to make a reservation for Saturday or Sunday for shopping or church, then you would choose other. But I am clicking where it says medical appointment, and my screen changes. This is the form that we have to fill out in order to book a ride for transportation. The first question on this form says different departure location. If we would like to be picked up anywhere other than the bus parking lot, then we would check off this little circle here and indicate where we would need to be picked up. Can anybody give me an example of a different departure location that we might get picked up from at Redwood Terrace?
Front entrance.
Front entrance. That's a good one. So for my example here, I'd like to be picked up from a different departure location other than the bus parking lot. Thus, I am checking off this circle and typing in front entrance. If you're okay with the bus parking lot, then you will leave this little circle blank and move on instead to the destination. The destination is probably what you would call it. So it could be, in my example, I might use Scripps La Jolla Hospital or Scripps La Jolla. And below it, we want to put in the address. Now, this has been different at different communities, so I'd like to ask, perhaps if someone in there knows, is the address actually optional for this form, or is it required?
It's actually required in that the driver needs to know where the residents are going.
Excellent.
So,
For Redwood Terrace, we absolutely need the address. Thank you for that information. I'm going to type in my address as 123 Medical Building Road, La Jolla. Which is not the real address, of course. If it were, that would be very surprising to me. Once we've put in our address, which is not in fact optional, it is required. So in the future, you might not see this anymore. This video is being recorded on the 19th of May. If you're watching it in the future, there might be some slight changes to the layout and information found on your form. But this is how it looks as of today. So next, after I've put in the non-optional address, the required address, I see date. And As we know, we have a minimum of 24-hour advance notice required of us to put in our transportation request. For my example, I was choosing Monday. Today's Thursday. So to change the date, we all will have to change the date because we can't book the day of. We need 24 hours in advance. And to change the date, we will click right here on the date. It shows us the current date. And the screen changes. We see date Thursday, May 19th, which is today's date, and then May 19th, 2022 in this little gray box. This little gray box, it doesn't seem intuitive because it's not telling you to click it, but you just have to know that in order to change the date, we click this little gray box. Now it shows us a calendar view. For me, I would choose the 23rd because I said my appointment's on Monday. So if I wanted to, I would click the 23rd and it would choose that date. But let's say the current date was actually the 30th. And we had to book in advance, so we needed to go to the next month. We can see the calendar of the next month by moving our finger up here to this arrow, clicking or tapping it, and now I can see the next month. Do we know how far in advance we can make transportation requests for? Is there any kind of limit on it?
Currently there is no limit on when they can make the appointment. So it could be months, like June, July. We just wouldn't retrieve it, until it gets closer. Yeah, the driver wouldn't go in and check July's appointment because they're concentrating on this week's appointment.
Excellent, good to know. So I can make it as far in advance as I want to. And so it's important that we know how to manipulate this calendar using these arrows to go back and forth between the months. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Excellent. For my example, I'm choosing Monday the 23rd, so I clicked on the 23. To get out of this calendar, I can click anywhere outside of this little box. So anywhere here, I can click. The calendar goes away. I hit where it says confirm selection. And I'm taken back to my form. Notice now the date reflects the date that I input, the 23rd of May. Next on the form, we have arrival time. We can click or tap where it says choose. And notice that it inputs a time close to the current time, the right now time, and it shows me service hours are between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. So we have to change the time to the right time we would like to create this request for. I can click on that box. And this is for the arrival time. This is when I need to be at my appointment. Sometimes for doctor's appointments, they request that you be there 15 or 30 minutes early. That's the time that they want to know about. When do you want to arrive at your appointment? For my example, I'm going to choose 9:30 a.m. Once I've made my selection for the time, I will click where it says confirm selection. And I'm taken back to my form. Next on the list, it says direction, one way. I can click or tap where it says one way and change it from a one-way trip to a round trip. So if I want a round trip, I will click this little circle right here, and it takes me back to my form. Now the option is need extra help. I can click where it says choose medical escort provided or easy transfer. Is there someone in there that could explain what an easy transfer is?
Someone that can transfer from their wheelchair or electric scooter into a seat in the bus or a vehicle. Or they can't, then they have to be strapped in or tied down in their wheelchair or electric scooter. They remain there, and the bus driver has to strap them down.
If I need that, then I would check off that circle, correct?
Correct.
My apologies for the audio interference. Of course, our landscapers just arrived. Okay. Medical escort provided. If I check that off, does that mean that you guys will give me a medical escort?
So whichever nurse, so we have skilled nursing too, the nurse is responsible to get an escort for that particular resident. They can't go on their own because they're in a wheelchair or scooter.
Okay. So I can leave either of these blank. Thank you for that explanation. Or I could check both of them off. In this example, I'm going to leave both of them blank and then confirm selection. So need extra help. If I didn't need anything, I could just ignore that question. Next is mobility aid. If I have none, I can leave it as such. Or I could click where it says none and choose a cane, a wheelchair, or a walker. For this example, I'll say a cane. After making my selection, it takes me back to my form. All that's left here are the special requests, which are optional. Is there anything in here that you guys normally ask to be put in this special request section?
Usually, because operation hours are from 9 to 4, some residents have appointment or procedure that's earlier at 8 or 7 a.m. in the morning. So that special request option box would tell the driver that they need to be there earlier.
Okay, so if
Okay.
my appointment was earlier, I could still book it, but
You will book it for a later time because they won't let you book until like after 9 a.m.
exactly. So I would
Yeah.
put in an arbitrary time here.
Yes.
Like if I had an 8 a.m. appointment for a procedure,
Right.
then I
Uh-huh.
could leave this at an arbitrary time, but then write in, and I can do that in this example. I'll say, my appointment is actually at 8:15, and I need to arrive at 8 a.m. The further in advance that you can make those appointments and those requests, the better.
Yes.
If you're following along with me and you're making a fake request, then please hit cancel in the top right corner. But if you actually are making a request you'd like to submit, please hit submit. If you hit cancel, then it's going to take you back to the main page of transportation. If you hit submit, then it's going to take you back to the home page of Redwood Terrace Connect. We can see our transportation requests by going into the transportation cube. And instead of book a ride, we would hit your requests. You'll notice on this page that there is an active filter up here. This is only for iPhone and iPad users, the active filter. It just means that I'm only going to see my transportation requests that fall between these dates shown, April 19th and June 19th. Because for me, that's 1 month in the past and 1 month in the future. Let me make that a little bit more clear by booking a ride outside of a month in the future. I'm going to go through this really fast, so don't get dizzy. Scripts. For my date here, I'm going to choose June 25th. Let's see. It's a Saturday, so it won't let me do a medical appointment, so I'll do the 28th. Want a round trip. I don't need any extra help. I don't have a mobility aid. And my appointment really is at 10:30. So I don't need to let them know that the time frame is outside of that pickup time. So I'm going to hit submit. It takes me back to the home page. And again, to see any previously placed transportation requests, I can go into the transportation cube. Instead of book ride, I'll hit your requests. Now, this is what I wanted you to see. You guys just saw me make 2 requests, right?
Yeah.
But I'm only showing 1.
Mhm.
That's because of this active filter up here. So if you made a ride request that was further than a month in the future and it's not showing up, don't panic. You just have to go up to the word filter up here and change the end date. I'll change it to July 31st. And click anywhere outside of the calendar to make it go away. Hit save. And look at that. What happened?
Filter it to like a 3-month span or something.
Yeah, since I changed the end date of my filter, it showed me everything within that new range of up until July 31st. So please be aware of that on iPhones and iPads, you're looking at a range of 2 months, 1 month in the past and 1 month in the future. If you want to see anything further out than 1 month in the future, then you'll have to change the filter and the end date. Also, please note that this is only going to reflect transportation requests that you booked through Redwood Terrace Connect. If you've been calling them in or using another way of doing it, then they won't show up here. To see more information about a ride that I have requested, or to cancel it maybe, I can go ahead and click on that ride. I'll go to the one for Monday, the 23rd of May. I can see all of the information here. At the bottom, I see cancel this request. So to cancel my request, I go into the transportation cube, your requests. I select the request I want to cancel. I scroll to the bottom of the page and hit cancel this request. After canceling, it takes me back to the home page of Redwood Terrace Connect. On the day of your transportation, you will see that transportation on your calendar on today's schedule, where you also see any birthdays, any activities that you've marked yourself as interested in or signed up for, any services that you booked like table reservations or maintenance or housekeeping, and transportation that you booked for that day. We can even hit over here where it says see all. And it will show us our schedule for the next week. So if we had transportation coming up, it would show up here. I could hit next month up here in the top right. And it would show me my schedule for the next month. To get out of this page, I'll hit the back arrow in the top left. And I'll return to the home page of Redwood Terrace Connect. Are there any questions on this process before I switch over to showing you how this looks on the computer, Android, or browser version? No, we feel pretty good about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Now please give me a moment while I get out of the iPhone, iPad screen. Now I'm going to be moving on to showing you how this looks using the computer version for the app, for anyone using the web browser version on any device, and for those Android users. If you have an iPhone or an iPad, then you can watch and follow what I'm doing. We're filling out essentially the same form, but we'll notice that the display looks a little bit different. To begin, I start by looking for the transportation cube, which is that lavender or periwinkle cube. When I see it, I can click it or tap it. And that takes me into the main page of transportation. To place a request, I will go to the button that says place request. Notice it looks slightly different on this screen. On the iPhone and iPad, it said book ride, but on the other versions, it says place request. So I click place request, and the screen changes. What would you like to request? Medical appointment or other? I can only use the transportation cube for medical appointments.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. I cannot choose other. Other won't do anything. But for this example, since I want to give you a view of using the computer version, I'm going to go ahead and book a medical appointment on the computer version here. I don't need to specify a different departure location because I'm okay with the bus parking lot. The destination in this case would be, I'll do Scripps La Jolla again. The address is required.
Yes.
123 Medical Building, La Jolla, CA 92037. I input that text. And now I choose my date, which is a minimum of 24 hours advance notice. There's no maximum. I could schedule this as far ahead as I wanted. I'm going to schedule this by hitting this arrow here for the end of June. What time would you like to arrive? I'll say 9:30. By hitting these arrows, I can change the time. I can scroll down and select either one way or round trip. For the example, I'll choose round trip. Extra service. I have the option of a medical escort or the easy transfer. Would you like to bring a mobility device? I could either keep it at none, which is the default or the automatic option. I could choose cane, wheelchair, or walker by clicking any of those circles to make that my selection. For this example, I'll choose walker. I can scroll down and input any special requests, which for the most part would just be indicating if I was trying to get a reservation for transportation outside the normal hours of 9 to 4. In this case, my appointment is for 9:30 and I'm okay with that time. So I will leave this section blank. But if your appointment is not in that scope of 9 to 4, you can put in any arbitrary number here and indicate in special requests if there is another time that you would like to be transported. If you're following along with me and creating a phony request, please hit cancel. If you really want to send your request, go ahead and hit request. If you hit cancel, you'll be taken back to the main page of the transportation cube. If you hit request, you'll be taken back to the home page of Redwood Terrace Connect. To see any previously placed ride requests, I can go back into the transportation cube right here. And instead of place request, I will click where it says your requests. Notice on this page, anybody notice anything different from the iPhone, iPad version?
Yeah.
What?
Well, the dates are on there.
There's no
dates are-
filter.
Yeah.
I can see as far in the past or as far in the future as I want.
Yes.
So there's no filter here when you're using the version for web browsers, for computer apps, or Androids, which is kind of nice. But what if I want to cancel this ride? How do I do it?
Press requested.
I can click anywhere on this section. It doesn't have to just be requested, but if that gives you better aim, go for it. And there will be an option. I'm an administrator, so I see this word change. But for resident users, you'll see the option in red to cancel. As of right now, there's no way to edit a transportation request. So if you need to make changes to your request, you'll have to cancel it and re-enter it.
Question,
Yes.
is that true whichever we're using, the web browser or the iPad?
Correct.
That's just for either method, okay.
For either method, you cannot edit a request. I will put in one caveat that that is how it works as of today's date, the 19th of May. In the future, your transportation team may start using the comments section to be able to communicate with you and make comments and also allow you to make comments. But that's not something that's functional on the team member side yet. But I'm just saying that for your knowledge, for those of you in that training today, and for anyone watching the video, if that feature does become live, then you will be trained on it separately. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Excellent. To get out of this page, I can hit the back arrow in the top left. And I'm taken back to that Your Request page where I see all of the rides that I have previously requested. I'll hit the back arrow again to be taken back to the main page of transportation. And I can hit home in my menu, which I know is always there, and I could have hit that way before. But I like to show you the path that we took to get into something. I also like to take you back out that way. So now I will hit home from my menu. And just because this is how it works at Redwood Terrace, let's take a look at trying to join a group activity for transportation. I can go into the activities cube and hit where it says view activities. I'm going to change it to the resident independent living calendar because mine automatically goes to the family calendar, but yours should automatically show you the level of living calendar that you fall under. And I'll change it to the week view. I know that your screen will look a little bit different if you're using an iPhone or an iPad. So here's one, out and about shopping for Target. This is what you were talking about, right? Is that Amanda that I have in there?
Yes,
Okay. So this is the example you were giving me, right, Amanda? Something like this?
correct, yeah. So any group things, that's where they're gonna go sign up and let me know that they're interested in going.
They'll always be on Saturday or Sunday, church transportation for Sunday.
Uh-huh.
Excellent. That makes sense. I appreciate your clarity in this lesson about that. To sign up for rides other than medical rides, it's found under here in the activities cube, on the activities calendar, under Saturday and Sunday. If I want to sign up for one of these, I will find it on the calendar, click it, and I can see right now nobody is attending or signed up for it online. And Amanda, you said that you offer 5 slots to online users and 5 slots to paper sign up users, right?
Paper sign up users, we have, our bus capacity is about 12, so it can go up to more than that. So it would be like, I wanna say 7 signups on paper.
Okay, that's great
Right.
clarification, but I love that you guys do that. Great job in making this accessible for both types of users. I know it's extra work on your end, but that's fantastic that you're doing that. If I wanted to sign up for this ride, for this out and about activity, I would go ahead and hit sign me up. I've now signed myself up to go to Target. Yes.
Marcy has a question.
Is on this group activity, it says Saturday, May 21st from 1 to 2. So do I, as somebody who's gonna be there, I'm gonna be up at the bus loading at 1 o'clock and I expect to come back and be dropped off at 2 o'clock?
It automatically defaults to an end time. But usually in shopping, like especially with Target, it depends on how many residents sign up and where they're going. Well, Target, but it's usually like an hour and a half to
Okay.
2. So
And
it's,
so the 1 o'clock is the only one that I'm gonna be up at the bus
yes,
parking lot at 1 o'clock.
correct.
Okay.
That's the time, the departure time. So you might want to be there just a tad bit, like 10 minutes before
Okay.
the load.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for asking that question. To get out of this page, if you're using an iPhone or an iPad, I believe you would hit the word done, which is usually in the top right or left. But for me, I will hit the back arrow in the top left. That takes me back to my calendar, where I can hit the back arrow in the top left again. iPhone and iPad users, if you're looking at the activities calendar, you'll have to hit the word done in the top left to get back to the main page of activities. From here, we can hit home in our menu, which is either at the top of the page or in the bottom left. And we're taken back to the home page of Redwood Terrace Connect. Please keep an eye on your notifications, which are either at the top of the page in the menu or at the bottom of the page in the menu. You'll see alerts about activities that you've signed up for or services you've requested. Any changes there, you'll be alerted to in notifications. You can also keep an eye on your schedule. Your schedule for iPhone and iPad users, as I showed you earlier, it is underneath your cubes. You'll see the option for today's schedule underneath the cubes. And off to the right, you'll see the word See All. You can hit See All. and scroll through that page to see all the activities and birthdays, your scheduled rides if they're coming up. For the computer users, our schedule's at the top of the page up here. And I can click where it says next days. I have a default of the next 7 days on here. So do iPhone and iPad users. But iPhone and iPad users, when you're looking at this, you can hit where it says next month in the top right. And you'll be able to see a month in advance. Computer, Android, and browser users, we have to hit up here where it says next 7 days if we want to change it for a further length of time. And we could choose specify. And change the end date right here from instead of 1 week to any other range of time. I'll do the 31st of July. And I can scroll down now and see everything that I'm signed up for or that I've requested. You'll also see table reservations on here. To become a better user or a more proficient user of Redwood Terrace Connect, I highly recommend keeping an eye on your schedule. Are there any questions about the schedule? To leave this page, iPhone and iPad users hit the back arrow in the top left or hit home in the menu. Computer, Android, and browser users, we can hit home in the menu. And we're taken back to the home page of Redwood Terrace Connect. Thank you so much for watching. Please rewatch again as many times as you need to. Practice makes perfect. And I'll see you soon.